Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Doctor's Notes podcast by Doc's Castle Media, a podcast I created to share the notes of one of my favorite reality shows ever, Big Brother USA. I'm your host, Doc, and I'm here to talk BP perspective from Doc's point of view. So here we go. Okay, here's another episode of the Doctor's Notes podcast. This is a double feature episode, episode recap another time because once again I am slipping with the schedule. Big Brother should not even be on this long and it's hard to recap. I am so behind. Like, this episode isn't even catching up to where we are right now, but because I'm giving my perspective still, I have to keep on recapping these episodes for you guys. This episode might be a little quick because me watching the episodes has been pretty spaced out. So I'm supposed to be recapping the live eviction episode and also the HOH competition. The live eviction episode was literally last week. So I cannot remember. I am a week later. Today's actually the double eviction, and I am not even going to watch the episode tonight because I'm so behind. But like I said, this episode of the Doctor's Note podcast might be short because I can't really remember too much from the eviction episode. So what I've recapped to you guys is basically what I'm going to recap of my memory. And the same thing for the HOH competition. This is just going to be something quick for us to kind of get us to where we are so that I can start getting up to speed. Because at this point, I'm trying my best, y'all. I'm trying my best. So basically where we left off on the last episode, which is the veto competition, we saw that Jag won the veto. And Blue also won a veto. And it was to save people off the block. So we were to see that it was Blue and Felicia were left on the block. And we know that Blue, because she won the veto, she is going to take herself off the block. And we need to have a replacement nominee. Jag, he's going to take Felicia off the block, and he's going to put a replacement nominee. The whole thing was talked about in the previous episode prior to the live eviction episode, which they left us at a cliffhanger like they always do, which I don't like. I don't like this cliffhanger BS that they've been doing lately. So either way. So, America is the replacement nominee for Blue, and Jag takes Felicia off the block and decides to put up Cory on the block in place of her. The new nominees, of course, are America, and America is upset with the decision, and she didn't see it coming at all. And Cory isn't mad that Jag chose to make the decision to move next week because he was targeting Mack and Jag the following week if he wasn't going to be on the block. So basically, Jag made the right decision in backdooring Cory and America. Of course, they have a blow up. Cory is trying to see what was the reason. America, she just sees that it's out of nowhere, and she is blowing up at Jag, and America is denying the conversation that she had with Blue when there was a conversation with Blue that had made Jag basically put them on the block. But it's inevitable. It's basically they're on there. At least one of the two of the showmans is going home. We see that America, she was upset. So with knowing that she denied the conversation with Blue, she wanted to go to Blue to kind of get a gist of why Blue went to Jag, kind of giving the information of their conversation. And wanted to know what Blue's intention was in telling Jag about her spilling her secrets to her. And it really didn't matter. Blue didn't care. There was no intention. She just was keeping it true. She has an alliance with them, and that it is what it is. We see in the episode, the live eviction episode, that we see Sari is completely tired of being in the Big Brother house. Her closest allies are gone, and she just can't take it anymore. On this episode, she was still wearing that dumb costume. She called it a dumbass costume. But you could tell from her mannerisms, Sari is over being in a Big Brother house. So she's just ready to get out of this house in the game. she don't got that very long to go. I think there's like probably 2 more weeks of Big Brother left, so she don't have very long to go at all. The alliances, if I want to talk about the alliances, in the episode, there really isn't, the alliances are solid. Like, there really isn't any switching up or people deciding to change or work differently together. It is what it is. You know, Matt is working with Jag. You know, Jag is working with Matt. You know, Sari and Felicia are basically, they are final twos together, honestly. That's what I think. And they just are working together. It's not nothing officially. There hasn't been anything said other than them at the beginning of the game, naming that they were being each other's final two. Ever since the blow up with Jerry, I'm not sure if that continues on, but by default, they're both still there, so why not? So that's that alliance. Bowie Jane still looks like she's alone and trying to believe and trying to figure out who to believe to be aligned with. And that's pretty much where the house is standing when it comes to alliances. Turning on each other, there isn't much room to turn on each other at this point. So when we get to the live eviction exit interview, we see that basically Cory was basically voted out of the house. He was voted out unanimously from 5-0. And the exit interview was pretty much inevitable. Like, we kind of knew that even though they were trying to, like, I think America tried her best to try to fight to... No, I don't even think America even tried to go against Cory. It was actually Cory. Cory was fighting for a chance to stay in the house. He played that game to the end. He went to people and he was deciding that he was going to try to pitch or try to see who was going to vote, ask where everybody was voting at, and he was telling people that he would go after Matt and Jag if he would stay in the house or whatever. But ultimately, it was time for Cory to go. So he's out, and he is the second person in the Joy house. He's in the Joy house with Cameron now. So Cameron, I'm pretty sure, is probably ecstatic to see Cory coming in, because that's actually who he wanted to go be in the house after him. So in that case, that was that. I don't think I had anything more to say about this episode. Like, as the episodes or as the house is dwindling down with people, it's becoming like less things to talk about. So, and the episodes are becoming like filled with stuff that we kind of don't care about, So, let's move on to the next episode. The next episode was the HOH competition episode, and we start off with Cory being out of the house and America's left trying to find out where she stands in the house. And we have Felicia and Sari, who are deciding that they want to continue to lay low because they know that there are stronger people in the house right now, and everyone has their alliances with each other, so they think that it's best that they just remain laying low. If they don't bother or talk much or see about who they're targeting or who they're going against, then they won't be put on the block. Like, Felicia has said that she's been on the blocks 5 times. She is going to do her best to avoid the block. I don't really blame her. So, we're starting to see that there are cracks amongst the other people. Like, people, they're trying to build alliances together, or they're trying to work with each other, but there's a possibility that those cracks are forming. Like, and a big example would be with Blue and Jag. Like, last week, we already saw that where it was faulty, Jag had an invisible HOH and put Blue up. Blue could be questioning that, and she forgives him for what he's done because he did apologize for what he did. But that's a crack to me. Like, that's a crack shown. And if people are really working with Bowie Jane, like, and Bowie Jane is really feeling like she is uneasy and believing what anyone is saying. People keep coming to her with these lies. Like, there are cracks appearing. So it is right for Felicia to just sit back. But she should talk when she feel that there's a threat. And I don't see no doubt that she does that. She actually does do that. So we'll have to worry about that. Before Cory left the house, though, he had lied to Bowie Jane before he left him. He wanted to set her in a path that could make her go after Matt and Jag. So he basically would say some things to Bowie Jane I forget what he really said, but ultimately it wasn't to show that allegiance to an alliance with her at all. Necessarily saying that he could, Jag or Mack could pick Felicia or Sari before her going to the end, because that's literally who else is left inside the house. So, in that case, goes in. He's not feeling easy with that. He's very, very uneasy and not really able to play. Plus, they have to compare it to Jag and Matt when she hears stuff like that, because she's been burnt so many times in the house, as what she mentions in her diary, and she doesn't really have any trust with the people that are in the house, and I don't blame them. They don't really. She has a good heart, and they don't just have a pure heart to understand. You can't come into the Big Brother house, not the American Big Brother house, with a pure heart for the people. And really, it happened one time before. It happened last year, and it happened once with Taylor. And if you're choosing to play a game of honesty and truth, it is very rare that you're going to get to the end of this game. But like I said, Taylor last year, she won, and that was the case, she won. The HOH competition was in respects, or hosted by Johnny Mack, who was from Big Brother 17. Johnny Mack was a veto beast this season, and he came and he hosted this competition. I guess it's a dentistry competition because Johnny Mack is a dentist. So from the Scary Verse, they decided that they wanted to put this competition in the game where they had skeletons, and we're looking at the skeletons' teeth, and we're seeing the differences, variations of what's going on with each character's mouth. And these characters are people from different Big Brother seasons, and basically what's needed for the house guests needed to look for the skeletons and match and watch out for clues, watch out for missing teeth, match whatever you see on the skeleton with what is correct on the x-rays within their room. Each one had a separate room where they were bringing their the x-rays. Whoever put the x-rays in the correct order first was the one who won the head of household. So we had everybody playing, and the episode literally was lengthy and made long because we were watching people play this game. I don't even understand why they do this all the time, but it's filler time. So they're filling in this time with the game, and ultimately the winner of the competition was Jag. Jag, once again, is another HOH. He was HOH last week, and for the first time in the history of Big Brother, we have a HOH who is the same HOH 2 weeks in a row. That never happens because usually the outgoing HOH doesn't get the chance to compete in the HOH competition. But because it was an invisible HOH last week, Jag was the invisible HOH, those rules are, I guess it doesn't go for this week. He gets to compete because he was invisible. No one was really supposed to know he was HOH last week anyway. So he had a chance to compete and actually won again. So for the first time in history, he is the 2-time in a row HOH winner in Big Brother. Yay. The decision of who's going to put on the block comes down to who is left in the house. And I believe that we really do not know at the end of this episode who is on the block, because I think they left us at another cliffhanger. No, never mind. They actually did. Like, they've been doing this too much. I done forgot. So basically, I think what we wound up seeing Jag do, what we talked about in the entire episode, or throughout this episode, outside of seeing the HOH competition, we saw America was trying to pitch where she's going to be. Right now, she's alone. There isn't anyone, no alliances that she's really with. Cory was her alliance. And if she's left to find out where she stands in the house right now, she doesn't have anyone while Cory is gone. She thought she would be able to work with Blue, but there's a lot of things that was going on last week with Blue, that she isn't too sure with being able to work with Blue going forward. Um, she can't really work with Felicia or Sari. I don't think that they like them working together. They just know that it's just like you trying to use me. So America is just trying to find her place to work with Jag and Matt, honestly. And honestly, I think that it's just where she's standing to be someone that's isolated. They're targeting her right now just by default. I don't think that it's a smart choice to target her. Like, she is isolated. You might want to target someone who might actually have someone else working with them. And I would say it is Suri and Felicia, even though it looked like they might not be working with each other. Like, they could be talking about each other, behind each other. But, like, these are two people who have been together since, the beginning of the game, working together. Jag's the HOH, and there isn't any other powerful people inside the house. He needs to go after Felicia or Sari. Like, why isolate America? She's already isolated and alone. Sari and Felicia look like they're the only two people who have an actual alliance outside of Matt and Jag right now. And it's not even an alliance. Like, they just hanging with each other. They don't even have an alliance. That's what's crazy. It's just, that's from the outside looking in, and that's the best bet for them. But I guess he just go ahead and go with America. I guess it's like, you might as well go after America. Because America and Blue aren't working together. They all both are isolated, but they are strong players. Like, outside of Matt and Jag, the strong player would be America and Blue. Those are the two people that would come close to winning any endurance competition, I think. So I guess Matt makes the right decision this week to decide to put America on the block and use Blue as a pawn. America is the target. Blue is the pawn right now. We don't have that many choices of pawns, for real. And I feel like Blue is who Jag and Matt are willing to let go in the house compared to Suri and Felicia, because I feel like they think that they can beat them. But before America goes on the block, of course, she tries to pitch a deal to Jag that she won't put Matt or Jag up next week if she was to win HOH. That she would focus on targeting someone who she knows will be able to beat. She knows that he should be focused on targeting someone that he should be able to. He don't think that he could be beat. So I think she was trying to point out Blue, but without even saying really names. But regardless of her deal, Jag says that the deal seems like it's budging. So he's not going to budge for it. And at the end of the episode, we see that they put up America and Blue anyway. As far as who wins the veto competition, there's only who can we put up, Sari or Felicia or Bowie Jane. Like, I don't even know. Like, at this point, they need to hurry up with the double eviction anyway. Like, the next double eviction needs to happen, because we need to get rid of some people out of the house so that the game can end. The game is just still lagging, for me, at least. I don't want to talk about any alliances. I don't have any Twitter updates. I haven't been keeping up with Twitter, and like I said, I'm behind, so I really don't have any updates for you guys. But as far as the MVP player for this Doctor's Notes podcast, I want to put the MVP player to Jag. Because Jag is making the big shots. Like, he is the big... Now, he's calling all the shots. Everyone is looking to him for an answer. And it's mainly because he's been the HOH for the past 2 weeks. But he's making some very strong decisions. And these decisions are engraved in what the house is deciding to go, like the direction that it's going. Like, it's just best that I feel like it's best that Jag be named the MVP player of this episode. Like, Cory couldn't be. Cory probably was, like, for last week or a couple of episodes, but like this week, there really isn't anyone that's pitching any significant game talk except for Jag. He's just showing with his chest out that he got this. He's playing this game, and that's that. So, for this episode of the Doctor's Notes podcast, I'm going to wrap it up now. We do not have any Twitter updates. Again, like I said, this was a double feature recap. Pretty much we talked about the live eviction for Cory, that him being the second person going to the jury house, and we talked about where he had left the house since then, and America's position being in the house since Cory has left. Well, there really isn't that many alliances. The only alliances that is left here, we said, is Matt and Jag. They're the strongest alliance, but there seems to be an underlying alliance between Suri and Felicia that we can't forget, even though that they say that they're not really working together, or they don't even trust each other like that, or they don't even have anyone in this house. They are hanging with each other, and that's basically the alliance there. The alliance by default. And what else did we talk about? We just basically talked about the competition. We talked about pretty much, it's only been one competition in this episode because HOH, we didn't have any other competitions prior to before. And yeah, pretty much that's the episode. So if we're recapping the HOH episode, the next episode that we want to go about talking about is the veto competition, and we want to know if whether America and Blue, if either one of them are to come off the block after this competition. But like I said, I'm behind. When I recap that episode, it'll most likely be recapping the double eviction episode as well. So you guys bear with me as we are trying to learn or speak about the perspective of what I feel like the Big Brother game should go like. Anyway, until next time, peace out. Thank you so much for tuning into the Doctor's Notes podcast. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and if you found value in what you heard today, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. For more updates and Doc's Castle content, follow me on my social media. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Doc's Castle. If you have any questions, suggestions, or topics that you'd like to cover in future episodes, feel free to reach out to me via email at docscastlemediainfo@gmail.com. Remember, your support means the world to me, and I'm grateful to have you as a listener. But until next time, peace out.